And welcome back, everybody, to the High Velocity Racing League podcast. I'm going to be talking with you guys this evening with some very awesome gentlemen that you see on the screen here with me. I got Mr. Sean Happy Happick, Mr. Matthew Chase, and Mr. Chris Weingar hanging out over there. What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing today?
Doing well, man. How about you?
Hanging in there, man. We got lots to cover. A lot of interesting things going on. We had some awesome racing in the trucks. Had some newbies in the cup, and it was an experience over there. Let's just say if you're not super familiar with riding a cup car around Darlington, it's super easy. Said nobody ever. But we'll get into all of that here in just a second. But what do you guys want to start off with? Should we just go into cup since I already kind of alluded to it with Darlington? And
Yep.
go ahead and dive on into there. So
let's rip the Band-Aid off for all of you guys who did not have good races.
For all of us that sucked, and I'm speaking of myself, because my goodness, that was the first cup race I've ran this season, and as we mentioned, it was at Darlington. We did have 7 cautions for 10 laps, ran 150 of them, and had 6 lead changes. 12 lead changes amongst 6 different leaders. But it's Darlington, right? So, yeah, I joked about it because it's really not easy. I totally forgot how difficult Darlington was, especially not having been in the Cup car for a while and the way it handles versus the trucks. I had my hands full just the entire race, just praying not to smoke the wall or smoke one of the other regulars in the season. But man, that was something. And Sean, for yourself, who's been racing in it for the season as well, I don't know how you guys are able to make it look so easy the way that you guys did. So my race was terrible, but I'll let you talk about yours, buddy, because I think yours turned out better than mine did.
Well, I mean, I think I was running 8th there a little bit, and I kept tagging that wall a little bit. I did pretty good staying off the wall for the most part, but I got it good once, and I had a little bit of damage, and I couldn't keep her off the wall after that, so I had to bite the bullet, go in, do like 4 minutes of repair, and get back out there. And I think I finished like 12th, so it wasn't the best finish for me either. That's a tough track.
Yeah, because I
it's
forgot that you had that damage.
Yeah, it's tough in trucks too. I mean, it's just the track itself. It's a
They
rough
call
one.
it the track too tough to tame for a reason. It was a heck of a race from the broadcast booth. Lots of battles all around, and really a decent race. I felt pretty good watching it and calling the action, especially the last handful of laps where we had that battle for the race win.
Yeah, I was excited. And, kudos to Mason because he's the one who's got a broken hand, right?
He just got the cast off, is what he said. So,
Oof. Man, I mean that's impressive. Especially to just the difference of the feel of the wheel of having it cast on and then finally get it off. I'm sure it's got to feel great, but to immediately go to Darlington and take the W, that's impressive. But Chris and I, that was our first time really getting to go around that track. Heck, I think, Chris, you bought it the night before was the first time you had touched Darlington?
Yeah, the night before or 2 days before. So, first experience of Darlington, and then plus adding the next gen car on top of that. So, I didn't feel like I did too bad. Got into one incident that put me down a couple laps trying to deal with damage and manage it, but overall, I wasn't totally upset with the outcome that I had. So I didn't nose it into the wall. Like I said, I think I finished 3 laps down, but I was still going around the track at the end of the race. So
Yeah, absolutely. So I think you ended up 4 laps down because I ended up 4 laps down, and we were pretty close to each other there at the end. You ended up
that's right.
Up 8th, and it looks like I ended up finishing 9th. But I see Bryce is in here, so Bryce, you ended up as the last car on the lead lap in 6th. Walk us through your evening, bud.
It was great until it wasn't. I honestly, I just was really really tired, and it was hard to properly focus. I had a strategy that I felt like would have been the winning strategy had I not messed it up, but I was messing with some calculations with the fuel, and I had old tires, and I just wasn't really paying attention, and I smacked the wall in 3 and got a decent amount of right front damage, and the race was just downhill from there. And hard to compete there with a damaged car. So
Yeah. Obviously, you guys have had a lot more seat time in the Cup car than I have, but I can definitely attest to that. I felt like I was so cautious and just trying to be in the center of the track and not against the wall. Like I told you Matt last week, I thoroughly expected to be up in the broadcast booth within the first 20 laps. But I was just rolling around, just telling myself, just please don't hit anything, just don't embarrass yourself, just keep the car in the middle of the track and let's just go. And I felt like I was doing that, and I got more comfortable. And then we get into stage 3, and I'm like, okay, I'm still rolling. I didn't expect to be here. And then I kind of lose that cautiousness, and then I torched the wall. I think it, went back about 3.5 feet after that, and that's a pretty decent wheel damage. And I couldn't make any corner exit after that. So yeah, that was something. But finishing that race, looks like Mangrum, I think he went out on like lap 3 or something like that. He ended up finishing in 18th. Colton Lanford finished 17th. Andre Carvalho was 16th. Kern was 15th. I heard chatter going on when something happened with Kern up front. Was that with you, Bryce?
no, that was with Ray.
Right.
So a little bit of insight on that situation. I can't remember if you said that was. I can't remember. Well, it had to have been stage 2. So, stage 2, we had a couple of restarts, and one of the runs prior, I knew that Ray had some damage, and when the caution came out, Ray actually was in P4. So I knew if I started in the high line, that Ray would be directly behind me, and he would get a bit of an advantage on the restart. And I was hoping that Ray would actually get out in front of Mason, or I don't know if it was Mason, but I was hoping that Ray would get out in front of Kern, and I can't remember who else it was behind us. But that plan actually ended up working, and I knew that, with Ray having the damage that he had and how hard it was to pass at Darlington, I knew that I was going to be able to build a little bit of a gap to the guys behind me, and that is exactly what happened. Unfortunately for my teammates, Ray ended up having so much damage that when he was coming off of 2, he just got tight and he smacked the wall on the exit of 2. And when he hit the wall, the angle that he hit it at jerked his car across the track, and he hit Will in the left front. And
Yep.
I mean, Will was just along for the ride, nothing he could have done. And I kind of felt a little bit guilty because I'm the one that put him in that situation. That's not what I wanted to happen. But yeah, so that's what happened there.
Yeah, I remember after it happened, watching it back, and I saw Kern's car. His car was, I mean, he got smoked by Ray off of the corner there, and he just went flying out of the inside wall, and the car was broke from there on. I mean, there was the left front was completely toast. So I mean, it sucked to see Will go out like that, but it was honestly a pretty dominant stage. I remember from you in the second stage as well. Mason was very dominant in the first stage, so we had a tale of 2 stages there with Mason and Bryce winning those first 2, and it was a tough battle from there on out.
Yeah, so a little bit of insight as well. Yeah, Mason is fully out of his cast, but in another league that I shall not mention, Mason actually finished P2 at Darlington with an actual broken hand in a cast. So I guess
You
that's
did mention
that. Yeah, I guess that's a track that Mason enjoys, and yeah, man. At the end of the day, I wasn't really too pleased with my performance, but I'm glad. I knew Mason had a pretty good chance of making the playoffs, by points, but the fact that he was able to get that win and get himself locked in, if not me, I'm glad it's a teammate. So
Yeah. Well, that was an awesome breakdown for it as well. So looks like Justin Nava finished 14th. Kevin Frey finished 13th. 12th was Mr. Happy over there. 11th was Bryce Tucker. 10th was Ray Hanneman. I finished in 9th. Chris finished in 8th. Mike Marini finished 7th. Bryce finished 6th. Jose Mercado finished in 5th. Sean Wilder finished 4th. Tyler Lemon was 3rd. And the runner-up was Joe Hudson. And as we mentioned, Mason Thomason took it home. Well done, everybody, on that one.
Yeah, the battles in the last, it was 15-10 laps were incredible. Between Mason and Joe Hudson, and then Joe comes up like a couple laps short on fuel and had to back it down in order to finish P2.
Right.
So we got robbed of an incredible Darlington battle. It would have been a battle similar to what we saw from Craven and Bush back in 03. They were neck and neck the whole way through that third stage. It was a really good battle that we were robbed of. So a good win for Mason, but I feel like it could have been either of them that got the win in that race.
Are you going to join us, Mike and Chris, tonight? Or are y'all not able to make it tonight?
I'm going to be on there.
I've also accepted it.
All right.
There we go.
What do y'all feel about tonight?
Going to be a lot easier than Darlington as far as handling. So as far as speed wise, I don't know, but still just getting comfortable with the car. But the track doesn't feel bad. So there's a big learning curve for me, at least. Just trying to make sure that keep the tires and don't wear them out too quick. So kind of the same mentality as last week. Go in there, learn some stuff, not get tied into any of the guys that have been in the season the whole time, and try and pick up some tricks from watching the other guys.
Yeah, spot on. Same thing here. It's just not be the reason for cautions and not ruin anybody else's day. Just try to complete every lap. So just get our learn on. But I don't know if you want to pull up the season standings. Count it down from, what do you want to say? I was going to say the top 10, but there was some movement down around 16th.
Yeah,
So
I pulled it up a little bit earlier when you were talking about the race as well as the playoff standings as well.
Yep, I'm sure we did go over that. So yeah, it looked like Hunter Young and Hawk had each dropped a couple spots, while Wilder and Langford moved up 2 spots each as well. But no change at the top. The only other change was Hudson falling 1 spot to Mercado. So Mercado's up to 3 and Hudson was in 4. But now to the epic conversation that is the Truck Series.
That was a heck of a race.
It was, and Matt, to you, kudos to you, but that was a great race for you. I was around you there for a little bit, and looked like you were just having a good time. Truck seemed steady. So
Stable, steady. I felt real comfortable in the truck. Chicagoland, Kansas, like those 2 tracks, they're very similar for me. I usually drive them pretty well. Any of those 1.5 miles, really. Those are my go-to tracks. Vegas is a good one. I mean, I finished in 2nd in the Vegas race earlier this season. Felt like I could have done better at Kansas if I hadn't gotten caught up in a wreck early on in the race. And then same here, I just felt right at home. I felt real comfortable in the seat. The only time I didn't, somebody cut me a break. So shout out to KT, because he could have run through me and ruined my night, and he kept the front of his truck off the rear of mine when I got loose in the 2nd stage. So shout out to KT on that one.
Yeah, I think to add on to that, I think as our season has progressed, the awareness and how to handle yourself in specific situations, the one just like you were talking, just letting off, you don't have to force the issue, you don't have to drive through guys. It was a fun, clean race all the way around. I mean, lap 2 got rather interesting real quick.
Real scary.
I think I saw who was it? I think I saw Meacham try to murder, I think it was Kyle. I mean, it just kind of I checked up and I'm watching him just slide through. Meacham was through the infield and he's coming across the track, and I'm off the gas, just watching where's he gonna go? Where's he gonna go? Where's he gonna go? He's coming to me. I let off even more, apply brake, and he just smokes the 27. I was like, damn, okay, I'm going. Just got out of the way.
I got a 1X from that race, and that was the incident that gave me the 1X. I had to go through the grass to avoid everything. So I was a little
Yeah.
upset about that because I was like, well, now I got a 1x. Now I'm not going to get the extra points, but it is what it is.
True. Yeah, no, I was probably let's say was that our third green flag pit stops?
Third or fourth, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we haven't had many in that. That's intense as well. That adds a lot more fun to it for me as well, because we don't stop in the middle of the stages unless we absolutely have to. But that's going to be under caution. But yeah, green flag pit stops are always nail biters. What's going to happen? Are you going to lose the race here? Who's gonna do something silly? Thankfully, it wasn't me. That's all we
It was
cared
Meacham
about.
again. It was Meacham again. He had a speeding penalty.
Yep. Yeah, that was he had a rough day.
Yep.
That was in 3. That in yeah, that's right after the green flags, and that's what pretty much shot him in the foot right there.
Yeah, he had to burn his fast repair there, and then he battled his way back up. I mean, he actually had a great run from the back towards the front again, right after the caution. I mean, he just cooked through the field and was back into the top like 10-ish area, like borderline top 10, pretty much right away. So he had a great run back through the field.
Nice. Well, Chris, I didn't see what happened to you on that lap 2. I just know as you were coming back onto the track from the infield, what'd you go through, man?
Yeah, I started on the inside, and when that all took place, the entire track was filled. So I went for the grass. Almost made it through. Got clipped towards the rear of my truck. Didn't spin me out, but gave me like 2 minutes of damage. So I managed that through the first and second stage. I think I was able to almost get half of it repaired during that caution. And then at the end of stage 1, got the other half of it taken care of. And I think the truck still had some damage that wasn't repairable, so it wasn't driving bad. But I was just trying to hang on to the fast repair. And then I think it was the green flag pit stops going into the last little stint that I went ahead and just used the fast repair to clean up whatever was left on that truck, so that just feel a little more confident putting it through the turns as hard as I could. So
Yeah. Sean, how was your day, bud?
I don't want to talk about it. It was fine.
Why not?
It was fine till we finished lap 1.
Yeah.
We didn't really fully finish lap 1, did we?
I think so. I think it was going into 1 and 2 on lap 2. I don't know. They
Yeah,
got a
it
little
was-
loose. 1 and 2 got a little. Well, I can't remember who it was. I think Dayhoff kind of hit the wall or got loose and came down into, was that Camburn?
Yep.
Or was
Yep.
it
I believe
George?
so. That was the start of it.
Yeah. I mean, it gave me P1 after that, because I think the caution came out before I actually made the contact and had to go through the grass. So it gave me P1. But man, I was asking everybody around if I had any damage, and they couldn't see any damage. So then I was
That's
like, all
right,
right.
yeah.
I was like, all
Everybody's like, no,
right,
you're fine.
I'll
That was
chance it.
sketchy.
I'll
I remember how sketchy that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he started. He was like, I am not fine.
Yep. I'm like, nope,
Yeah.
I'm not fine.
I am not fine.
I couldn't even go like 120 around them corners without it breaking loose. So I
Yeah.
finally-
Like watching on the broadcast too, watching you like almost kick it out every single time. It was like you were trying to find a line. And
There was
it wouldn't stay
nothing.
underneath
I
you.
was up, I was low. I finally had to go high, then kind of diming it down off throttle, and that kind of was helping me. But then I was worried going that slow pace that they were going to catch me to go a lap down, but they weren't, but about 3 or 4 seconds behind me by the time the stage hit. So yeah, it was just it was just one of those bad races. They're gonna happen. I've had 2 or 3 of those this season. So
Can I have a bad race that I end up finishing P9, please?
Yeah,
I'll
right.
take that.
hey man, it was everything. I can't believe I fought back to even 9th, so I was happy with that. I would like to see what I could have gave Danny or hell, even the top
Travis.
5, yeah, or Travis, just see if I had anything for them. I don't know if I could have competed with them or not, but sure would like to have tried.
Right. I don't know if you can see it, but I just shared my view of that calamity.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, share it in the admin chat if you're able to see it or pull it up. But it's man, just watch Meacham through the infield, and that's where.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wasn't he the one that died at Indianapolis?
Meacham,
Yes.
Yes,
He's like
he
barrel
had it
rolled
too.
over a color.
Yeah,
dead.
yeah. Turn 2.
Meacham, dead. The most famous HVRL call.
Right.
Live in infamy.
Head to the infield care center. Yeah, that was man. It was a good time though. I enjoyed our time at that track, and I can't remember. Do we have that on the docket for next season?
Which
Anybody
one?
recall?
Chicago. Man,
Yeah, I think so.
Do
I
we?
believe it made it.
Because I feel like it always keeps getting overlooked, and it is a real fun track. I really do
Yeah.
enjoy it, even though I
wish
tend to
NASCAR
never
actually-
do well there. But
I wish NASCAR would actually go back to that track, to be honest, because it's a good one. It's a little wonky on the backstretch, not being completely straight. It's kind of like that curved backstretch, so it's a different looking
Mhm.
track.
Yeah, it is slotted in for season 3.
Excellent.
you want
I
to know
feel
what's a different looking
Kentucky's
track?
pretty
Ri-
similar.
Richmond.
Yep.
I was hoping we didn't have to talk about that.
Can we just keep talking about the Chicagoland race? Because I had a great race. The battle with Wilder at the end was incredible too.
He
I
ended
know
up
that
getting
the
it
broad-
right at the line.
He ended up getting it at the
Okay.
line because I went into 3 and just kind of it just start plowing tight in 3 and 4, and I just couldn't keep it away from the wall. I had to back it down, and then he got by me on the inside.
What was your thoughts on it, Ray? Since you and Bryce were broadcasting there, see some good
Bryce
racing
gave
out
me kind of
there.
Bryce gave me the reins there because he was he was more race control that race, and I was telling Bryce, every single race that we have in the truck series, it is so hard to keep focus on what is happening. Like there's just so much action in the front, middle, the back of the pack, and I literally had to drink water and slow my speech down a little bit just so I can get my breath again and keep going because you guys all out warfare on the track. It was just battle after battle. It was clean racing too. Like it was so fun to call to watch. Like I wish I was on the track racing. It was it looked like a good time.
It was hard clean racing. That's the
Yeah,
best. That's the best
exactly.
kind of racing you can get.
With the amount of
Yeah.
3 wide passes, offset 4 wide, you guys were in turn 1, turn 2, and like you had people up top in turn 3 that were hitting the bump and then getting loose but saving it and staying near the wall, and people would get the runs and they would come back a lap after and do the exact opposite. Like it was so much action. I loved it. I had one of my favorite races to watch in the truck series for sure.
You should get a lot of action this Sunday too if you're there.
A lot of spinning.
I hope so. And see, and that's something, Chris and I were talking about as well as throughout this week is, my first thought of how it's going to go is like, oh, it's just going to be a disaster. And, we all dread the fairgrounds part 2. But didn't we all kind of say the same thing about Bristol? That we thought it was just going to just be a dumpster fire and cars are going to be spinning all over the place. But that
The
it didn't
thing
turn out
about
that way.
the thing about Bristol though is it's a little higher pace track. It's more similar to Dover than it is to a fairgrounds where you have to have braking zones at fairgrounds. There's less braking zones and more coasting zones as far as Bristol's concerned. With Richmond, you got braking zones. You have to hit the brakes at this track. And not only that, the exit off of 2 is going to be dangerous. It's going to be the danger zone all day long. People are going to break loose. The good news is you got 1 fast repair. You got 2 opportunities to break the truck. If you break it the second time, you're done for the day because you hit that inside wall head on, you're done. That motor's dead every time.
Right. So are you.
And well, maybe.
I was trying to be a little more optimistic, but you just went
I
full
think it'll-
Sith mode.
I think it'll be an okay race. I mean, we only have like 20 or 22 signed up as we're wrapping up the season 2 here. And all these guys in here, like I feel pretty comfortable around, and they've all been in here for weeks and weeks that we've been racing against. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure we're gonna have our self spins and things like that. I mean, we're all probably gonna get one of those at one point. But
4 guys coming out of the pits on about lap 3 or 4 due to drive through. So yeah, I'll watch out for everybody when I come back out onto the track.
we weren't going to talk about it. You brought it up.
Yeah. I was
Oh,
about
no,
to say,
it's
like,
fine.
we just
I
kind of
was,
glazing
I
over
was,
it.
oh, I was gonna bring it up. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to bring it up.
But no, I think it'll end up being an okay race. I don't think it'll be as bad as it. Nashville. I mean, what do we have? We had like 40 trucks on that track. Although it's you know.
It's pretty full. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were only like 1 or 2 pit stalls away from qualifying.
Which means,
Yeah.
yeah,
Or
it's
qualifying.
30. I think it's 36 there. So I think we had like 34 or 33 trucks.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot. So I just think this will be better. I think a lot of these guys are decent that are signed up. So yeah,
But to
I
me,
think it'll
though,
be all right.
about the thing I'm most optimistic about, and I think, definitely Chris, I'm pretty sure Matt will agree with me as well, is the best thing about Richmond is Atlanta is after it.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, not right after it. We got a week off between, but after that.
It'll be the next race we all participate in. But yes, can't wait for Atlanta. If we could just do Atlanta this week and do like qualifying for the following week and we call it that, I'm okay with that if you want to make that judgment call, Happy.
Yeah, old Atlanta all season
You said, yeah,
long.
okay, you heard it.
That's
Oh,
fine.
no, what?
That's fine.
Yeah.
We can do old Atlanta too. I'm
That's
fine with
better
that.
than Richmond.
Let's do old Atlanta this week, and then we'll get the pavers out there, and we'll do a new Atlanta next week. There we go. See,
I like your style. Yeah, but we're gonna be optimistic, right? We're gonna go around and turn left and try to go slow and then go fast. But finishing that race, looked like Seabolt finished 10th. Happy finished 9th. Chris finished in 8th. I finished 7th. Corey Moore was 6th. Into the top 5 was Mr. Matthew Chase. 4th was Sean Wilder. 3rd was Bobby Grady. Another KNW teammate finished in 2nd with Mr. Travis George, and Danny Gross brought it home. P numero uno.
he was definitely fastest all night. I mean, being up at the
He
front,
was.
you were up there with him with George and I for a while there. The three of us were like chasing him down, and we were close for a bit, and then he just kind of pulled away from us there. It was.
I don't know if he's toying with this or what.
It felt like it, didn't it?
Yeah, exactly. He's riding around changing music stations and texting, and he's like, "Oh, they're getting close." He just put the throttle down and took off.
Well, there was 1 or 2 times where you and Travis were able to get to the inside of him, and then he just went gone. He just pulled away from you guys, and then you guys started falling back to me. I'm like, oh, okay, well maybe I got a chance for top two. No,
There, that's like you said. I would get pulled up to him. I was like, "All right, here's my chance. I'm going to take the lead. I'm going to get aggressive here," and I could feel the wear I'm putting on the tires. But Travis is right behind me, so I'm like, "Okay, we're all on like equal wear." And then Gross was just like, "Okay, playtime's over."
that's what it felt
just
like.
went away, and I'm just sitting there like with my jaw. I'm like, "What?"
I mean,
Well, come
laps.
back.
He led a lot of laps. It was
Yeah, he led like one. I don't know.
82.
82.
Say, I knew it was high. I just didn't know how high.
Yeah, he was
and
82,
and with
and Grady had 11.
He becomes our 10th different winner of the season.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
That is awesome.
out of what, 17 races? Have we done 17? Yeah, because we have 3
Yep.
left.
Correct. Yeah, it's way more than I anticipated.
Yeah, I was expecting 6, I think is what I guessed at the beginning of the season, that we'd probably have 6 different winners. So to have 10,
We had 6 different winners in the first 6 weeks, didn't we?
Uh,
or 5 in the first 6 weeks
yeah.
at the
Oh,
very least.
yeah.
yeah, 5, because I think Cornwell won 2 back to
2,
back
that's
there.
right.
But yeah, with that, that's just how you want that league, it's just nobody running away with it, and clearly
All right.
Well, I mean, you ran away with it.
All right.
Mhm.
Running
I
away
mean-
with it.
I mean-
all right.
I didn't say nothing, but I mean in wins anyway.
That was a consistency thing, not
Yeah.
necessarily just blowing
marked-
the field away.
He
Right.
Mark
And-
Martined his way to the points lead.
I
Well,
did.
And I don't know how this is going to sound, but I think we're really at the point though where kind of the cream of the crop is starting to rise, right? I mean, to put it bluntly, I don't want to say the first half, but the first third of the season was at times a crapshoot, right? I mean, and again,
Oh, for sure.
it's not to take anything away from anybody that won, but there were some heavy hitters that got taken out in early wrecks the first couple of races, and now guys are kind of starting to realize, hey, I can push hard around this guy, or hey, maybe I need to chill out against this guy, and people are learning, who and where they can make moves against. And I think that, again, just kind of over time, whether it's the comfortability or the patience starting to grow more, whatever the case may be, it's at a point now where, again, the guys that are quick and the guys that are consistent are the guys that are winning. And I think in the truck series specifically, I would take consistency over speed. I mean, not to sit here and make your head any bigger, but I mean, Happy, that's kind of honestly the name of your season. I mean, the first half of the season, we talked about you a couple times, but you were always just kind of that. You were the Bobby Grady last year, right? I mean, Bobby Grady was the guy that was always there, just lingering in the background. And, you had a little bit of a breakthrough, of course, midway through the season, but you just always made sure that your name was in the conversation. Even if it wasn't at the forefront of the conversation, your name was in it. And I think that's a big determining factor as to why you're in the position that you're in right now.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I would have won more. I mean, but I have the most top 5s. I have the most top 10s than anybody in the season right now. So that's all it comes down to. It's just
you stayed out of the wrecks that happened early on in the season.
Who the
All
hell
right.
cares?
You're the one that said it first, Bryce. Just saying. Anyway.
Well, that was supposed to go to Happy, but I couldn't find it, and it was a little delayed.
Wow.
But
All right, I'll be quiet. You'll hear my voice enough tonight anyway.
no, you're good. When he was talking about, I got top 5s and top 10s.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
But no, what I was saying though is, you were out of the wrecks at the beginning portion of the season. You always kept, like Bryce said, around that top 10, top 5. You were in the hunt all season long, and that, like he said, that's put you in a position now where realistically all you really got to do is show up, and maybe I don't even think you really have to, you can probably start in park and probably win the whole thing at this point.
well, I know all the wrecks are finding me now.
That's fine. You don't need the points. You don't
built
need
the cushion
points.
up already, man.
You built that cushion.
Yeah. All right. So our new chase format standing looks like we got Brad Dorr in 12th. Cornwell is now fallen down to 11th. Bloodworth is down to 10th. Chris stayed stagnant at 9th. Matt Chase jumped up 3 spots to 8th. I stayed at 7th. Wilder stayed at 6th. Camburn stayed at 5th. George still at 4th. Bryce Tucker still at 3rd. Meacham still at 2nd. And as we've been discussing, Sean Happy Havoc is still king of the mountain with a 97-point lead over Meacham.
Big mover.
That's it. Man, 3 spots, dude. That's awesome.
There's a lot of spots.
It would have only been 2. Thanks, Chris.
Not a problem.
It just goes to show how close the points are too, though, right? I mean, like, Chase didn't win the race, he didn't dominate the race, and he was able to jump up 3 spots. So, it's a little, him jumping up 3 spots is a little less surprising if, he led every lap and got all the stage points and all that. But, and he had a hell of a race, not to take anything away from you on that either. But again,
Okay, take it away from me. It's fine.
No, not at all. It just goes to show that, like I said, like, you don't have to come out here and have an absolute dominating performance to still be able to make your way up the ladder. I mean, even Happy, we've talked about it with you. Like, yeah, that number looks, pretty big, that gap, but Cornwell ends up bowing out. Meacham has had some catastrophic races since the chase format has started. I mean, if he doesn't have the misfortune or lack of luck or whatever it is that you want to call it, if he doesn't have that, that race between you and him could have been a lot closer. And there's still time left. I don't know if there's enough. But this chase format still could have played out a lot different than what it looks like on paper.
Well, you say since the chase started, let's think back to Vegas. He was dominant through the first 2 stages of that race too. Had a chance to win it, but he blows it on the restart zone violation. Then you go to Kansas, he blows it on pit road there. There's multiple black flags that have cost him dominant or top 5s at the very least throughout the season. So I mean, he's really had some pretty poor luck all season as far as that goes.
Maybe him and Kern have been hanging out or something in the background.
Damn.
A little bit of the racing they did together at the beginning of the Cup season rubbed off on Kern or something. I don't
I
know.
guess so.
Yeah, as far as my lead went going into the chase, I could have very easily lost it because I haven't done very well in the chase, and then Meacham in second has just not. He'll have a good race, a bad race. Tucker in third, like he had to use a provisional one race. I think Travis George in fourth. Didn't he like get almost last in one race? Like 2 races ago or
Did he
something,
have a provisional in the chase too, or was that
or maybe
pre-chase?
that. Anyway,
No, he did.
somebody could have caught me, but just nobody in the top 5 is really performing up to the standards to catch.
Well, and
me.
it goes back to consistency. I mean, I even talked about it with Kern in the Cup Series. It's like, you know, Will's my guy, that's my teammate, and that's my boy. But you know, at what point can we stop? Like, I don't want to say making excuses, but you know, the speeding on pit road, the speeding on pit road again, the black flags, the restart violations. I mean, the restart violations as the leader, you should never get a black flag for that ever. I mean, just to put it bluntly, you shouldn't. And it's again, yeah. And you know, I know Grady is guilty of it, and I don't know the other, but you know, I mean, those are, to put it bluntly, kind of silly mistakes that have really large implications, especially, you know, early on, like, you know, Chase referencing Vegas, when we still have close to 40 drivers on track. You know, that penalty, if you got 10 to 15 guys out there, sure, the penalty is still the same, but the repercussion of the penalty is a lot different because there's just physically less cars to pass. And, you know, I don't know Meacham on that much of a personal level, but I can imagine if I made a penalty like that, I'm probably going to try to push a little bit harder to make up for it. And then that's where, again, you kind of have that snowball effect of you start pushing harder, you start racing harder, you start making some mistakes that maybe you wouldn't make. And then you've got one mistake that compounds to another, which compounds to another. And then there you are. So, I mean, it just kind of furthers the point that consistency, again, shows to be more important than pace. And
On that example, I had 34 points last week. That was it. I didn't get a stage point. I didn't get 9. He was looking to maybe win the race or get P2. The winner of the race got 68 points. That's a 34-point swing right there.
Yep.
But it just things in P2, P3 in the standings. You know, Meacham ended up getting that penalty, leaving, and got, you know,
Like
I don't know,
18th or 17th. I don't know. I know he was down there.
Yeah, 24th, dead last with 24 points, and he could have gained 34 on me if he won the race. You know what I mean? Well, with stage points and things like that. So, there's been a couple instances like that. When I have a bad race, it seems like everybody below me in the standings has a bad race too. So I guess it's just worked out like that.
Voodoo on them, didn't you?
Yeah, a little saboteur.
But yeah, no. So we'll see how things go Sunday. But tonight, seems like the rest of us are gonna be hanging out at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Mr. Chase is gonna be up in the booth this evening. Looks like we got 134 laps around Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Stage is gonna be at 33 and 67. It is a night race with 3 sets of tires. You guys are crazy because we have no fast repairs, so I don't know why you invited truck guys over here. Because that's what we do.
We need some calamity over here. It gets boring, all these green flags.
no, I mean, look. At the end of the day, you know, I think we can. I don't want to say close with this, but everybody that's in this league is talented to some degree, or they wouldn't be here, regardless of what series that you're in. I think, and I can. I feel like I can speak on this pretty well because, again, I'm still pretty new in my quotation marks iRacing career, but I remembered having the same mentality as Mike mentioned earlier. I remember being that guy I just want to finish the race. I don't want to cause any accidents. I don't want to be that guy. Nobody wants to be that guy. But to some degree, at some point you have to be that guy or you're going to be stuck continuing to not wanting to be that guy. You know, of course, tempers flare. I mean, I'm guilty of it. I know Ray's guilty of it. You know, there's a couple guys that we all kind of know their reputation and whatever, but we're all here for a reason. And at the end of the day, it's just a sim. It's not that deep. And mistakes are going to happen. I've made plenty this season. Again, Kern has made several this season. Ray's got his hand up. He's made, that's the nature of it. Now, it's one thing if guys are out here just being, missiles on purpose, right? Like we all kind of know the limit between somebody being new and, people just being dumb. But at the end of the day, the biggest thing that helped me was just racing and putting myself in situations that maybe I didn't want to put myself in or I didn't feel comfortable in. And that's the only way that you're really ever gonna break that box of, I don't want to say mediocrity, but just being stuck in your own little bubble, right? I mean, I got invited to leagues that I had no business being in. I mean, the second league I ever ran on iRacing, I was 2 months on the service and I'm racing around guys that are 4,000 and 5,000 iRating. So I know the feeling like, oh shit, these guys are the real deal and I don't want to be the one to wreck. My first race in that league was at Dover of all places in the next gen car. So I joined that league and I had to race Dover, North Wilkesboro, and Sonoma were my first 3 races in that league with like, at the time, maybe 3 to 4 months of experience. But it took me going through that to really understand either A, what I'm capable of and what I'm not, and what it looks like to drive around other drivers. So
For sure.
So in
we
other
extended
words,
that invite. So
Yeah. No,
just
and so
race,
what we're
Mike.
saying is we're gonna race, damn it. It's like the only thing I mean by that is Chris and I have not been here from the beginning, so we don't have a championship point aspiration. So we're not trying to ruin anybody who is in point contention.
I would appreciate it
Whatever.
if you
In
do.
the truck, hey, in the
I'm
truck
sure
series,
you would.
in the truck series, if your ass comes near me, I will gladly be that guy because I feel like I owe you one.
And
So,
I at
yeah.
least need to lay low for 1 week, maybe 2 weeks. I mean, I brought on enough controversy last week, so
Just put a mask on. Nobody will know it's you. It's fine. It's fine.
I know Wilder's watching, so I always have to talk crap to him. But it's just like him taking out the leader in Bristol. It happens, and he
It
was
does.
laps down. It was
does.
fine. He felt bad, but I don't think Frey, however the hell we say that, I
Fry.
forget. Fry.
Bye.
I mean, he was
asked him.
cool about it. He
Yeah,
wasn't.
I mean, at the end of the day, shit happens. So it
That
is what it
does.
is, and I mean, again, as long as I think heat of the moment or not, I think we all again kind of understand like intention oftentimes outweighs the result. In some cases, I don't know how that's. I mean, in court, I guess it doesn't always stand up that way, but well, that's another conversation. But yeah, I mean, if you make a genuine mistake, and I don't just say you, I just in general, but if you make a mistake, if it's a genuine mistake and it's, it pretty obvious that, hey, it was an accident, then it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, if you're, you got leaders racing you and, you just kind of sit in the middle of the track and don't do anything about it, okay, hey, maybe that's a little bit of a dumb move, but, so it's part of it, man. You gotta,
Unless you hit
go
Bryce,
through it.
then that's a no, and he'll tell you about it.
I probably will. And then I'll
Yeah,
probably
for
laugh
sure.
it off because, we're going through some changes over here on this side of things too. So
All right.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, I think
Let's
the
get
lobby
to
should
it.
be opening soon. So might try to go to do a few practice laps so I can see which direction this track goes in.
You're going to be turning right
I
all
was
the
gonna say,
time.
I think this
That's
one.
what I
I think this
thought.
one goes right.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Sidebar: I don't know if iRacing will let you do it, but it would be awesome to try to make a setup that you can set the
Reverse
car up to
Mic
go
check.
right. Would be
Spotter radio
awesome.
check.
I don't know if we can do that on here, but that would be. I don't know how the hell we would do it without iRacing freaking the hell out. But a right turn over race sounds like some fun to me.
the server starts smoking somewhere.
Reverse
Oh,
Monza.
it would. There is Monza.
All right. Well,
Monza.
oh, he's gonna try it. Good luck. All right. Well, let's call this one a night. So good luck to everybody this evening, and hopefully everybody has a good week as well. For myself, Mr. Fontaine, got Ray up there, Mr. Happy, Matt, Chris.